Alright, we're back with another video. Haven't made one in a while, but I'm gonna make one. This is the Belgian Grand Prix review, and then my next one's gonna be, I probably won't do Hungary, maybe, I don't know, but I'm for sure 100% doing a like a mid-season summer break review. But yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so Belgian Grand Prix, the winner ended up being Antonelli, and then it was Leclerc, and then Verstappen. That was a podium. Pole position Antonelli. It was a very boring race, I'd say, and you wouldn't. Actually, I expected it, but Spa is a racetrack where it shouldn't be boring, or it shouldn't be like, you know, have no action, and that's because the cars. What happens is, on condensed circuits like where there's not a lot of straights, you'll see a lot of overtakes. So you'll see, especially at the beginning of the race, you'll see a bunch of overtakes. You'll see, you know, because the battery isn't being depleted so fast. So, for example, at Spa, there's a lot of straights. So, you got to be full throttle for a long time, and the battery runs out so early off, like, you know, the Kemmel straight and the back straight. So you're just a sitting duck, and so is everyone else. So it's just very frustrating, because the drivers have to manage the battery throughout the race, and that means they can't really attack, because you have to deploy so much battery throughout the lap. That you don't have any when you like have to overtake someone or anything like that. So it's very sucks in that nature for circuits like this, where, you know, you do use a lot of power, and what happens is everyone's battery is at 100% at the start, or, well, it should be. I'll get into that later, but and everyone's battery is topped up at the start, so everyone starts off at 100% on the battery, and, you know, that's when you see a lot of overtakes. They're close together, battery's high, you can use a lot of power, especially early in the first couple laps of the race. But as the race goes on, the drivers will flatline at around the battery pack, around like maybe 50% or something like that. So it's much more of a management throughout the race than going flat out and, you know, trying to be as fast as possible. So yeah, that's why it was very boring, and people were saying it sucks. You know, and the cars can't even hold power that long, even at full power, because you had people like downshifting on the straights to recharge the battery. Like, that's just not Formula One. It shouldn't be. So I definitely understand the drivers' frustrations on the regulations, and it rewards just, you know, more management and braking earlier, and, you know, it's not that doesn't reward doesn't reward necessarily being the fastest and being the bravest, I guess. So things to talk about. So at the start, we'll talk about the start. So at the start of the race, Verstappen used the battery boost, got ahead of Antonelli from second, and because he started second, Antonelli was on pole, but Antonelli just blasted past him on after a Rouge, and, you know, overtook him easy, and Leclerc overtook him because he used too much of his battery. So it's just like a battery Formula One. So that's just, you know, it's too artificial. It shouldn't be like that. Like, he lost. If you watched it, you just saw Verstappen just, it looked like he was driving an F2 car. So yeah, that sucks for the racing. Russell, we'll talk about this. Okay, so apparently Russell didn't start the race at 100% battery, so he was already down maybe like 40% on his battery at the start of the race, and everyone else was at 100. So he had absolutely no power. I think he topped up at 306 kilometers. His teammate Antonelli was at 326 or something like that, and he lifted. So he got passed by, like, Russell started third. He got passed immediately by Leclerc. He got passed by Hamilton, or was it Norris? Well, not Norris, Piastri. He it's like 3 cars overtook him. Like, he had no power. And he ended up, crashing out with Hamilton at the start. I don't think he was too mad about the DNFing or anything like that, actually. He actually called it a racing incident, even though Lewis got a 5-second. Probably not deserved, but, it is what it is. But he was more, like, mad about his battery not being charged at the start of the race. And I don't know if that's... I think Toto Wolff said it was, like, an engine problem, but it was also him, like, his driving or something like that. But I just don't think... I don't think that Antonelli is necessarily faster than Russell, but I think Antonelli just has a grip on how to drive these cars more than Russell. And that's why he's struggling and doesn't fit him, and but good drivers will always find a way to adapt. So if George Russell, it's not an excuse for George Russell, I'd say. It's up to him to learn and adapt, and I think he will after the summer break. As much as I dislike him, it's just, I think he is a good driver. But he's just, something's not clicking right now for him. So we'll see. Let's go down the order. Antonelli, good race from Antonelli. Finished first even after the VSC helped Leclerc get into the lead. But it was a good race by Antonelli. It's just the car is just overpowered. It doesn't mean Antonelli is the best driver or anything like that, but it's just, that Mercedes. If you watch the Antonelli pole lap versus the Verstappen pole lap ghost mode, you'll see Antonelli just pull away on the straights, and Verstappen's braking later into the corners. He's gaining all the time on the corners, but Antonelli, I don't know. It could also be the setup, but Antonelli just disappears on the straights. So I think it probably was part setup, but also part car, definitely car. I need to see if other teams can end up closing the gap after the summer break or whenever the upgrades come. Antonelli, I think this was Antonelli's best win, or his most needed. Like, this is, in my opinion, his most impressive win. Like, I don't like. How do I explain this? I think he wrapped up the champ. Like, this race, basically, like, I think he has the championship wrapped up. Got a string of bad races. Not his fault, but it was, unfortunate for him. But I think this race really is worth more than people realize. If you take it back last year, Antonelli, when it came to European races, he was like pointless. He wasn't performing, and this just goes to show that he is getting that consistency, I'd say, that I said before that he needed, because he always had the speed, but the consistency was not there last year. But this year he's proving it, and I think this race has convinced me that Antonelli is going to win the championship. you know, he just needs to not pull a Piastri or something like that from last year, and he'll be fine. But at this rate, he just looks super, like, just in another league of his own. Like, just way too fast. The car's way too fast for anyone else to even have a chance. Because in Silverstone, he was, before he DNF'd, he was rapidly closing on Leclerc. What was the other race? In Barcelona, he got past Russell. I don't know if he would have beat Hamilton, but he was definitely faster than Russell over the course of the whole race. And I think it just goes to show he is a great talent. Generational talent. I don't know if he is generational talent. He's still very young. You remember, he's only 19 years old. Do I say he's generational? I think he's more on that. He has more potential than like Russell and Russell and Norris did, I'd say, coming out. But like, I think his ceiling's higher than theirs, so definitely he's capable of winning world championships. So he's already proving it this year. But I didn't think that at the start. I think he needed to prove more at the start of this year. But if he wins, and if he performs well, if he wins in Hungary, he's got my vote. He's locked it up for sure. If he wins in Hungary, it's done. I thought it was probably already done after this race, but if he wins in Hungary, no doubt in my mind, Antonelli will win the championship. What else? Verstappen, obviously driving the wheels off the car. It's just, it is, the car is what it is for him. They fixed his rear wing, so it's more reliable, so he isn't crashing. Verstappen has been played with a lot of bad luck this year. I think everything has been up, like something was wrong with the car. Because all his crashes have been unordinary. Strange crashes. So I think maybe one was his fault. The spin at the start of Miami was his fault. He was pushing too hard. Leclerc, he's back. I feel like Leclerc is very. I think people were. This happens every year, actually. Leclerc gets written off at the start of the year. He has a string of bad races. People call him washed and all that, but then he comes and wins, and puts in, good performances. Bang, 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 bang. And, everyone's like, oh, Leclerc's back. And Leclerc, is just, people just... That's why I say he's underrated. I really do think he doesn't give the respect that he deserves, because I really do think he's, the second best driver, or I know he's the second best driver on the grid behind Max. And you just, for example, Antonelli is not a better talent than Leclerc, in my opinion. Antonelli is around the talent of, I think he has more potential, more talent than Norris, Russell, and Piastri, but he isn't a bigger talent than, Leclerc, Verstappen. He's not a bigger talent than Hamilton was back in the day. He wasn't a bigger talent than Vettel was back in the day. But I think he's in that gray area for me as of right now. He's above Norris, Piastri, Russell in terms of potential and all time and ceiling, but he's not he doesn't. I don't think he's got it on. He's not a better talent than Verstappen or Leclerc even. So, yeah. That doesn't mean, you know, like Antonelli's a bad driver by any means. He's a good driver. He's a great driver. He's a driver capable of winning world championships, which is all you really need. Yeah. Good job, Antonelli. Who else? Hamilton got beat by Leclerc. They're pretty even right now. I think Hamilton has a grip on these cars more than Leclerc, but Leclerc has also said that he's changing his driving strategy, and it's worked. So, Leclerc, I expect him to continue this. Norris and Piastri, good recovery. Not really. Norris was expected to climb up. But he did have more pace than Piastri, who was unfortunate to pick up damage with the against Leclerc. That was low-key Leclerc's fault, but the stewards decided not a penalty because they didn't crash. So there's just a little bit of contact. But Piastri was dealing with damage the whole race, but he did finish 5th. You know, I thought that was, you know, good for Piastri, but Norris has had the upper hand on him on basically like the whole season. I think, like, I just feel like the McLarens have been anonymous. Norris, you know, he had pace. I actually don't know what happened to him. He finished 7th or 7th, yeah, behind Hadjar, who okay, yeah. Let me get Hadjar. He, you know, 21st to 6th is a good recovery, but I don't think it's like inflated. Like, you know, 21st to 6th last year is a great drive from anyone, even the McLarens last year. 21st to, because the field was so tired, so hard to overtake. Here, 21st to 6th is not as, you know, it's still a good drive, but it isn't like, you know, oh my god, like this is like the best performance of Hadjar's life. It's not. Because what, you start 21st, you have to get past the Astons and the Cadillacs and the Williams and the Haas, who are like lapping. The Astons are lapping 4 seconds slower than Hadjar. The Cadillacs 2 seconds slower. You know, that's easy. That's like, you know, 8 positions gained just like that. Like, you know, the Haas is the Williams, the Cadillacs, and the Astons. Easiest recovery. Or like, you know, if you didn't get past them, then that's a real problem. Then you got all these other cars like the Alpines and the Racing Bulls just are lapping like 7/10 slower than the Red Bulls. So it's more like it's expected. Like, if Hadjar didn't climb up to the points and he didn't climb up to like at least 8th, that would have been like, you know, kind of like loss. So it was still good from Hadjar. He finished ahead of Norris. Also, Hadjar got lucky. He pitted like 20,000 times under VSC. You know, that's why he jumped ahead of Norris, even though Norris had more pace than him. Hadjar just got lucky to be on fresh tires basically the whole race. So, yeah, that's why. But I see on like Twitter and stuff, everyone's like, "Oh, Hadjar, like, it's the best driver." Like, you know, like, doesn't give enough props. What doesn't get enough props is the midfield battles that they don't show on TV. They show it in a little like mini picture on the left, but they're more, I don't know why, they're more focused on, you know, Hamilton driving in P4 by himself with no one within 5 seconds of him than Colapinto gaining 2 positions through a Rouge. So that's just, you know, it's just how it is in Formula 1. Formula One is not fair, so they're going to focus on the top teams, especially now, because the top teams are so much ahead of the midfield and the other teams. So it's just unfortunate for those other teams, but I am glad that they cut out with the celebrities all the time, like just showing them all the time. Who else down the midfield? Good drive from Bortoleto, 8th place, ahead of the Racing Bulls, the upgraded Racing Bulls of Lindblad and the Alpines. Bortoleto, that was actually a great performance by Bortoleto. Like I would say, that performance from Bortoleto is better than Hajar's performance. Then it was it was Colapinto in 10th. Good overtake from Colapinto. Finished ahead of Gasly, which is good for him if he wants to keep his seat next year. Who finished 9th? No, Gasly was outside the points. Was it Hulkenberg? No, I think he was outside the points. It was Lindblad. Yeah, Lindblad. Yeah, Lindblad 9th. Great qualifying performance from Lindblad. Not, like, in Q2, was, like, very close to the front runners and, like, ahead of some of them, I think. So, but that Racing Bulls was only upgraded for Lindblad's car, though. So Lawson didn't get the upgrade. But still good from Lindblad. He doesn't get the attention that Antonelli does, which sucks because, he's having a great season. How many points finishes is it in a row for Lindblad? Like 5. Great performances by Lindblad, but unfortunately he's not in a top team, so he's not going to get the media attention or the attention from the fans that he should, or that Antonelli does, because Antonelli's in a Mercedes. Yeah, good job from Lindblad. Gasly, good, decent. Hulkenberg, they both got beat by their teammates. Not that they had a bad weekend, but just, could have been better. Wasn't terrible. Sainz, good weekend. Actually, great weekend from Sainz. I know. Oh my gosh. You probably wouldn't expect it from like, probably not paying attention, but qualified well. Sainz, I think it was, he managed to get into Q2, which is good for the Williams. Hope he's gonna go to Audi, or I could see him definitely leaving Williams next year. James Vowell is selling him on empty promises at this point. So, Albon, all right. Stroll retired. Everyone else just, it's hard to pay attention to the midfield and the low field. I paid attention a lot because Tsunoda was often fighting in the midfield in the Red Bull last year, so I'd always, I'd pay attention more to that than the front runners. The Haas's, Ocon, yeah, buddy, your seat's gone. Give it to Tsunoda. Out in Q1, out qualified by Behrman once again. Behrman, outperformed in the race as well, so, he's already on thin ice with Haas, so I really do see him leaving next year. Apparently, Rafael Camara is going to be the reserve driver for Haas next year, so it's either the McLaren test driver or reserve driver Leonardo Fornaroli. He won F2 last year, and Tsunoda. Fornaroli, I mean, he raced for Invicta last year, so, he was going to win anyways, so And who was his teammate last year? Derrickson or something? Joshua Derrickson. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think he's not a better talent than Kamara, in my opinion. And he's not a better driver than Solov. So, I don't know what they're gonna do with that situation at Racing Bulls. Hadjar seems like he's gonna stay. They're not gonna kick out Lindblad. Like Lindblad and Lawson are having great seasons, but I could see why they would kick out Lawson, but he would just go to another team. He's good enough for that. But apparently Solov just has like a guaranteed seat at Racing Bulls next season. So I think there'll be some moves in the driver market. Aston Martin bringing a huge upgrade. Their chassis is coming in Hungary this weekend, and their engine is coming after the summer break in Holland. So, I expect them. Apparently, they're like 2 seconds faster with this new spec, so maybe they qualify ahead of the Cadillacs or something like that. Yeah, they added like 70 points to downforce to the car. What else? Russell, yeah, just needs to get it together, bro. Like, if Russell doesn't win next weekend or finish ahead of Antonelli, at least the championship's over. He's behind Hamilton now, which is not a good look because the Mercedes is so much better than the Ferrari. And yeah. What else? That's about it. Either this weekend or the summer break is next video. Alright, see ya.